now going to find out about the best use of cutlery in your kitchen in despotic times. He's just going to set his computer up, and has he got some subject to talk about?
Yeah, so I'll text her that I've got them, and then next time see them. Otherwise, I can't see nothing.
On a Saturday, the regular crowd shuffles in. There's an old man.
Testing. Do you hear me all right? Wait.
You ready to go?
Hello, Truth and Freedom Festival. How are you doing? Good. Can I have a oi oi from the men? Oi. Can I have an oi oi from the women? Hey, undercover policeman? Hey, there's one. Just one sec, I'll just get this set up. Okay. Okay, so my name's Ben Butler. I'm from Cambridge, just down the road. And I've come here to talk about the use of kitchen cutlery in despotic times. What kind of a title is that? Basically, it was Mark's idea. We needed to kind of sneak me in without saying what I was going to say on stage, because it's a little bit controversial. But here I am anyway, and here I am to tell you what I'm here for. I am a Blade Runner. Does anyone know what a Blade Runner is? Hey. A few of you. So yeah, I'm not a Blade Runner from near London where all the ULEZ kicked off, you know, Matt Houston and all of that. But I became aware of all of this tech, you know, a long time ago, as you probably all did. I studied engineering with weapons people as my lecturers back in 2008, and I started to see, you know, a lot that was up with a lot, you know, as we all did. And it came to, you know, the last few years where we've seen like this huge amount of monopoles and towers and stuff going up with the 5G systems. And obviously my eyes were open to it because they're quite obvious. But in the more recent times, we've been subjected to slightly more covert, but a lot of you are probably seeing it wherever you're from. Whether it's local to here, anywhere else in England, you're going to be seeing these units, if they're not up already, popping up all over the place. So, does that work? No. Does that work? There we go. Okay, so this is the website of a company called AGD Systems. And they create these little boxes which go on top of traffic lights. You've probably seen them, right? Has anyone seen them? Put your hands up if you have. Yeah. Okay, so just to read, because you won't be able to see it, this is a traffic control radar. Here, traffic control radar, monitoring radar, okay? Now, it's quite obvious that radar should never be pointed at human beings, ever. It's a really great target acquisition system. They use it to find aircraft flying in the sky and find boats floating along the channel. You know, they don't work so well these days. But either way, these ones are pointing at pedestrians all over the country. Pedestrians, cyclists, cars, the lot. In your car, you've got a fair amount of protection. You've got the windscreen, you've got the metal box. As a pedestrian or a cyclist, you've got nothing at all. So a lot of you will probably remember the police used to use these guns, right? Where are they now? They're not around, right? And this is because there was a man called Dr. Neil Cherry who did a study in the early 2000s, and he found that cancers, brain cancers, testicular cancers were going up in the police that were using the guns. So now they use unmanned vehicles, right? They leave the vehicle there and they disappear for the rest of the day because they know that it's dangerous, okay? Yet still, because they need all of our data and they need to constantly have this closed loop control systems transmitting and receiving information, they're putting these out on top of traffic lights. right? I saw this happening in my local area, and I crossed these crossings, and I was listening to the information, doing my research, and I thought something's got to be done about it. So I started by just getting them and wrenching them towards the sky, right? And they were reset in place within 24 hours. So they can't, you know, fix potholes in the roads, but they definitely need this radar pointing at human beings. You know, so that was the first thing that I learned by doing this. Being an engineer, I like to test things. You know, if I wrench it up towards the sky, how long does it take? 24 hours. It's obviously quite important to them, right? I then started putting bin bags over the top of the facial recognition units and realised it doesn't do anything for the radar. This radar here, this unit, is a plastic casing, and the radar's going straight through the plastic casing. So what's a bin bag going to do, right? So I thought I was making a difference. Turns out not. Okay. So the next thing that I had to do, and I knew this, you know, it dawned on me that I had to start disabling the equipment. And of course, when you do that, the first time that you snip a cable, you're in the criminal book, right? You're going to be hunted for criminal damage. But of course, they didn't see what was coming, which is that I had a load of evidence. And I didn't go to them originally and tell them that these things were weapons. I just went out and took action, right? And I built my evidence up. And really, the first time that I cut one of those cables, it was on, right? The switch had been flipped. I was now being hunted, and it was a matter of time. So I decided to get on it as hard as I could. And I managed to disable about 200 units in 3 weeks, something like that. I was going out every day after my work or whatever, and just getting on it. I got quite quick at getting up. You know, the first one was looked like an idiot, basically. But then by the time I let my information out online that I was doing it and became public, I was pretty swift. So I was doing it in the day because I was sure, and you should be too. This is weaponry. This is 100% electromagnetic weaponry. I'll go into it in a moment. If I've only got 20 minutes, I'm going to have to shoot through from here. But that's just a little introduction. This is the Neil Cherry study on radar giving cancer, testicular cancer and brain cancer to the police that were using it. And this is all the evidence that I've submitted in the custody interview. All ignored, of course, which I will come on to. This is the United States patent for phased array electromagnetic weaponry. Phased array, I'll quickly explain. You get a few kinds of radar. One of them has a single antenna. It transmits, waits, and then receives that information. Okay, so it transmits, waits, and receives. You get one with two antenna, which transmits and receives constantly. And then you get phased array, where you have an array of antennas, and they all transmit the same frequency, but whether they're in phase or out of phase, they can put the beam over here or over there, or focus it on somebody, and they target, acquire, and track. So this can track several targets all at once. Why do we need this at traffic lights? Right? So they're telling the public through their media campaign against me that these are just sensors, and that I'm causing senseless criminal damage to these innocent little sensors. That these are target acquisition systems which can easily kill. They're very low voltage, 12 to 24 volts they work off, but they've got capacitors inside them which store that energy and can dissipate it easily enough to kill a person, can dissipate it like that. So we're dealing with proper weaponry. Don't let them gaslight you. And me being here today is proof, right? I've caused over £100,000 worth of damage by their estimations. 6 figures for sure, probably up to 200 now. And I'm out here speaking with you all, right? This is from the AGD website. So that's the box there, and then this is what we call the kill box. So you've got these various units all around the picture, and you're seeing those people are being showered in radar. This is their imaging from their website. And you would have thought, if we're talking about a company like this, saying that they're killing people, that the company would have come to us by now and said, hey, we need to go to court and sort this out. You know, you're bad-mouthing our company. Where are they? Nowhere to be seen. So anyway, more diagrams of how it can affect humans. This is all about cardiac arrests, strokes, and obviously cancer in the long term. I mean, fairly short term, as we're seeing. That's a couple of the units in the field. You've probably seen them. This one here, that's a brain scanner. It's got 2 cameras in it which are exposed, and then within it, underneath the casing, LED diodes. They're infrared diodes. And this thing usually is about 1 meter above people's heads. They're most often outside schools, not anymore in my area. But that, by the ICNIRP guidelines, that needs 3 meters of safe distance, the exclusion zone. But they're mostly mounted about 1 meter above people's heads. So even by their own guidelines, which are complete bollocks, they're still breaking the rules, basically. This is multimodal facial recognition scanner. It's got a facial recognition camera in it and the radar. So it's all about triangulating you as a target. They'll use the MAC addresses and IPs coming off your phone. Some of us are actually emitting these codes as well. Of course, that's something else. But this is also triangulating that information with your facial recognition, and it's all AI. There isn't someone sitting behind the computer here. The data centers are controlling this. This is made to get rid of police, and the social credit system then seamlessly comes into action, right? So all through my journey, I've been letting the police know, you know, the gravity of what I'm saying here is that your jobs are on the line and your lives too. So just turn around and come over to the right side. Do they? No, they don't listen, right? But here we are. This is my smoking gun from my case. Before I started, I submitted a Freedom of Information request to the criminals at Cambridgeshire County Council, and I asked them for the manufacturers of all of the equipment, the models and the makes, and then the means of operation. Look at that, right? What do we see? Well, AGD Systems is noted. Every AGD Systems unit, means of operation, unknown. Who would have thought it, right? So they're literally telling you, we have no idea. So that's either criminal negligence because nobody caught it, or they know, right? Both ways it's criminal, huge sentences for these people, you know? Then you've got the manufacturers that are unspecified, and then they're known. Yeah. So yeah, if you get hurt by one, like, you know why, but you don't know who to contact, right? So this was my smoking gun. This file that I've got with the FOI response on it has disappeared off my laptop on several occasions in the last couple of weeks. So do keep backups. Obviously, I am slightly hunted at the moment, but either way, so this document is what led to me going out and taking action, right? If my local authorities can't tell me anything about them, then I'm cool. I'm all good, right? So I went out and started. The police came and picked me up, and my beautiful wife, Emma, over there, she filmed the whole thing, right? Emma, do you want to put your hand up? Hey, I'm so lucky to have somebody who supported me through this. But when I got picked up, she filmed the whole thing. And while I was in the cell, they kept me in for about 20 hours, and I was about 18, something like that. And while I was in there, I was like, I wonder how that video went. Did she post it? Who knows? While I was in that cell, it did hundreds of thousands of views. It was already at 250,000 by the time I was in the interview, the custody interview. And I could, now in hindsight, I could see it in their faces. You know, they really didn't like me very much. It's now on about 5 million views, my arrest video. You should be able to find it online if you haven't seen it already. But yeah, so just a couple of documents and things to highlight. This is ICNIRP. who is the scandalous organisation who set the safety levels for this stuff. And they actually say in their own documents that if somebody has metallic implants or metal on your body, none of their safety stuff applies. Yeah, none. So if you've got glasses on that have metal frames, if like me you've got an implant from an operation or a jab with metal components in it, then none of it applies to you. So basically none of any of the safety stuff applies to any of us, pretty much. It's horrendous stuff, yeah? You've also then got this quite official document basically declaring that from many tests there are psychotoxic lanthanides, which are heavy metals. So there you go. You know, it doesn't apply to anybody these days, pretty much. That's all from the AstraZeneca and, you know, COVID vaccines, pretty much. This I actually submitted to the police. A lot of people question it's whether it's real or not, but it's a leaked WhatsApp message from Matt Hancock, basically saying about Bill Gates, tell him that considering how many people I'm getting his chips injected into, he owes me one, right? And I looked at the police face when I submitted that, and they know. They're pretty sure of it as well. So anyway, this is the end of the presentation, but I will just go on a little bit more if I'm all good. If you want to add me on Telegram, this is my little channel. I'll be putting up a lot of updates about it, and there are some yellow flyers kicking around as well. Do pick up the yellow flyers. It's literally a protection in law. If you carry those yellow flyers around with you, they're just at the front here. There's also some in the shed at the back. But police have been ordered to not take those leaflets. They're known by police all around the country. So anyway, I'm going to tell you a bit more about my story now that I've gone through what they look like and how they work. When I got nicked, it was just psychological abuse, plausibly deniable, of course. They kept me in there for 18 hours. They took all my paperwork off me. They took my written statement off me. You know, fortunately, I came pretty well prepared. And when I had submitted all of my evidence and eventually given my written statement, the police basically said to me, right, that's it. We've got all the evidence that we need. Your case is going to be with the CPS, the Crown Prosecution, tomorrow. You'll be in magistrates tomorrow afternoon, and you'll be in prison tomorrow night, right? And then they sent me back to my cell. So it was like a mic drop from them. They just left. And these were detective inspectors, like high up. They were also in my house, unclothed, what do you call them? Ununiformed detective inspectors. It's not common for that to happen. They really wanted me, yeah? And so they dropped this bomb. They said, you're going to be in prison tomorrow. We've got all the evidence we need. They showed me the evidence. It's literally me. Yeah, I go back to my cell, and an hour and a half later, the door swings open. You're out. No bail conditions. Nothing, right? And if we do have any police, present or past, yeah, you can confirm this to me. Police have basically three things to do. You find the criminal, or the suspect at this point, you gather the evidence, and then you send them off to be charged. If you've got the criminal, and then you've got all the evidence that you need, and then you don't charge them, it's misconduct in public office, right? Here I am, all the evidence, I'm the suspect, and then they let me out with no bail conditions. So that is proof to me. You know, I'm on bail and I'm going back in a couple of months, but I would expect that all that they can do is carry on with the bail, because they don't want me in court putting this on the public record, right? So I am, at the moment, absolutely fine. They're probably going to try and get me on something else, but we'll see. I'm quite clean, so it's all good. But either way, the door swings open, no bail conditions, I'm off home. They didn't even put a curfew on me, so I went out and did it all again. What else, eh? This time I actually hit it really hard. I went out one night and I did about, 60, 70 units all in a night. And the thing is, under £5,000 with criminal damage, you're looking at a slap on the wrist. Over £5,000, it's in court and you're probably getting, you know, hefty fines, if not prison sentences. I'm, you know, up to probably nearing 200K's worth of damage. But obviously, Matt Houston, he's on 7 figures. He's set the bar pretty high. And nothing as well, you know. He's not getting done for any of this stuff because they know it's weapons, yeah? All of this stuff, including the ULEZ cameras, has the capability to beamform, like I was talking about before. Plenty of energy in these devices to take somebody out, right? So, in my area, all of the units that I've clipped have gone. They've come and taken them and they haven't come back, right? So I walk around my area and I'm like, we're good around here, you know? There's still a few areas that I've got to get, but I know the city very well, so I did it quite efficiently. And really this is like a call to action. You know, if you see these things and you now know that they're weapons, you know, if you are able, then, you know, get in touch. I've got evidence, I've got the things that you need, and you can help people around your area, seriously. It's a really nice thing to walk around now, walk my dog and know that we're not being showered in radar. And you can do that for your local community too. You know, it's been proven, it's all good. But obviously not all of us can climb up lampposts. And yeah, there is something that all of us can do, which is we're putting these authorities, so to speak, into corners. They're binary positions, where if they, for example, with the 5G towers, you ask them for their insurance, we know that they can't be insured because the insurance companies have assessed the risk and they will not insure them. We know that. So if you ask the council for their insurance, they either say yes and they're lying, which is misconduct in public office, or they say no and it's a problem, right? So then you say, okay, why not? And then they have to start scrambling, yeah? And this is what I've done to them as well. I've put them into a binary position where they can either do me, right, and completely ignore anything that I've been saying, or let me out because they're criminally complicit in mass murder. You know, so basically either way, they're done, yeah? And that's the kind of behavior that I think that we need to see to really drive a wedge in this. And it's happening with my case and probably about 10 other people around the country. There's, you know, from all sorts of walks of life, and we're all basically collapsing the whole thing by the looks of it, because the cheers. I'm actually like massively over the moon about how much of a fracture I've caused, but especially the Blade Runners just all around the country. They're absolute legends. Yeah, heroes, absolute heroes. But together, you know, the police forces are communicating, the councils are communicating. They're trying to come up with ways to circumvent what's happening to them, and they can't. It's literally impossible. So the more that we do this, we don't need to like make sure it happens in every council. We just need to make sure that in our local community, we hammer it hard. And those fractures will get taken down, all of the routes, yeah? After my arrest, they falsely arrested me because they already knew that they were weapons. Mark Steele had phoned them 2 days before my arrest and told them. But they still came with 8 people, handcuffed me round the back even though I wasn't resisting. They were all about 20 years old, which was quite strange. So, but that's it nowadays, isn't it? So yeah, they handcuffed me round the back. It was a false arrest. And then a few days later, my friend Michael, way up north in County Durham, he got arrested, and it was completely civil. And that went to show that the million views that my video had got at the time of them manhandling me and abusing me had travelled all the way up to County Durham. And, you know, he was getting a very polite officer, hey, do you fancy coming with us? There's two officers 50 metres away behind him, right? Whereas with me, it was like pile in the house. You know, it was crazy. So that's kind of my story for now. But if you want to catch up with any of it, then yeah, hit me up on Trust the Silence. And I've also got an email address I can give out if you want to speak to me, and we can convene about evidence if you want to take action. Try and get people together in your local communities. You know, young people, where are all the men? Where are all the men, you know? There is a point at which when you know enough, it's negligence to pretend it's not there, you know? And it's, yeah, criminal behaviour, and that's what I recognised. You know, it wasn't easy. Everybody thinks I'm nuts in my hometown. Not everyone, that's not true. A lot of people support me, but actually overwhelming support. You know, I came out of the cell and I was like, I wonder how people are going to take it. And then I'm getting old mates messaging me saying, absolute legend. I was like, nice, it worked. Yeah, sorry.
I read recently that shining a green laser will harm them. Is that true?
Okay, yeah, that's actually something that I wanted to say and forgot, so thank you so much. Has anyone seen the stuff about the green lasers? No? So in the States, they're going through this flock thing. The fact that they're called flock cameras is mad, right? What are flocks? But anyway, so they're smashing down these flock cameras and they're using green lasers to disarm them. High-powered green lasers that you can buy on Temu or Amazon or whatever. And they do work, but only for the diodes, which are found in, if you remember the brain scanner that I showed you that goes at the top, that has, they have diodes in them, but it wouldn't work on them anyway because they're covered with a plastic case. These lasers would have to burn through the case before hitting the board and, you know, doing the burning of the circuitry. So they're not worth it. They don't work. With these things, safer, more safe than sorry, just clipping the cables is the only way forwards. And then you are just saving people all around your area. And yeah, so on that note, be sure to check out saveusnow.org. It's on the yellow flyers, and there's loads of information on there. Mark's Substack is a really good source of information for this stuff. But don't let them gaslight you. This is real. These are weapons. And anyway, I'm Ben the Blade Runner. Thank you so much.
Come on, let's hear it for Ben. He's not a kitchen fitter. He's a very brave man.